So what is a feral hog? The USDA says feral swine are the same species as pigs that are found on farms. The Missouri Department of Conservation says feral swine can be any hog not identified by ear tags, roaming freely upon public or private property. The Missouri Department of Agriculture says feral swine are free roaming or Russian and Eurasian hogs that are confined. So what's the problem? Over the last decade, mixed breed hogs, both feral and confined, have been arbitrarily regulated as a different species than commercial hogs. Competing for USDA grants, the Missouri Department of Agriculture and state conservation agents are using this confusing legal language and taxpayer dollars to block the public from harvesting this abundant natural resource. The after effects of these prohibitive live hog market and hunting bans are causing devastating effects to the rural Missouri landscape. Hunting and trapping is now banned on over 1,000 Missouri public properties, and healthy native hogs have been regulated out of the live auction market. Facing the resulting population explosion in the woods, Missouri farmers are speaking candidly with us about feral hogs.
How many acres you think you've had damaged?
Well, it's just all over, you know, it's not just confined to one little area, they're very mobile, and they just go everywhere, root.
You have neighbors south of you, Greg and
Yeah.
John Henry, and then the guy that bought the Lotus farm, all of them have hog problems.
Yes.
Well, tell us about your experience with the MDC. What did they tell you, and what did they promise you, and when they came in here, how long they stayed, and what they done?
Well, they was here for a couple of months before, well, actually longer than a couple of months before they caught that big group of 22 or 23, and all of those were just shot, and we drug them out in the pasture and just left them lay out there to rot.
In 2017, federal and state agencies killed over 6,000 hogs, leaving 500,000 pounds of pork to rot on the ground in public lands, also leaving devastating ecological scars and baiting larger predators.
Didn't he have he had more than that on his picture?
Yes, there was 4 that got out of the trap. While he was shooting them, they got their head in between the panels and got out. And then when he looked at his pictures, there was 4 or 5 on the outside. That when the trap door went down, there was 4 or 5. So there was at least 30 in the group.
How many did he trap after that?
None. And they seemed like they was sincere in what they were doing, but didn't seem like they was getting the results that was expected.
Yeah.
In fact, he still got a key to get in here.
Yeah.
I never did get my key back.
In your opinion, what do you think is the best solution to try and control the hogs?
To create a market for them, that would be the best way to go.
It would cost our government a lot less money in the long run, I believe.
Yeah, and that would be a good thing to do for the
Poor people.
Yeah.
Especially when 1 in 4 kids in our state go without enough to eat. And I've said this before, if for no other reason it's morally wrong to just shoot them and just leave them lay there and rot when it's perfectly edible food.
Well,
I ate a lot of them.
In fact, I ate some of that sausage yesterday morning.
Yeah. It's not
Good.
too bad, is it?
It's good. Go to the store right now and buy bacon. It's $4, $5 something a pound for bacon. I can eat sausage a lot cheaper than bacon.
Yeah, this solution is a lot simpler than people want to make it. You can have the hogs tested, and if they're tested, they are pork. They're not, you can call them swine, you can call them feral hogs, you can call them whatever they want, but the DNA is the same as a regular hog.
Feral isn't a species, it's a state of confinement. The only difference in these two Hampshire hogs is which side of the fence that they're on. The Missouri Department of Conservation's jurisdiction over domestic swine should end when a hog's free-roaming state of captivity ends. By definition, if a hog is confined, then it's no longer feral. Once an at-large domestic hog is captured, then it should be regulated by the Missouri Department of Agriculture as transitional swine. Citizen farmers, ranchers, hunters, and trappers should be given every opportunity to harvest healthy hogs rather than wantonly waste them.
Something else that, I've heard that if you shoot at the hogs, they'll run off and then they won't come back. That hasn't been the case, has it?
That's baloney.
No.
That's not hog. That's baloney.
Yeah.
Because they'll be right back.
I've
Yeah.
killed them multiple weekends in a row right down at the end of the field.
Yeah.
Same spot, within 100 yards.
There's a hog lane over there by that hole of water that you was hunting over.
Yeah.
I told him that was on that arrow shot with his arrow, probably.
Do you remember the first year they had the flyover up there?
Yeah.
All right, that year they had us stop, but we was running dogs on Mingo. They had us stop 2 weeks before the flyover.
Yeah.
And up until that point, there was that winter and the previous winter, I think we got like close to 170 hogs out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I understood it on the flyover, they had to fuel the helicopter up twice, and they killed one hog.
And then they couldn't prove it.
Right.
They suspected they
Now,
killed
what
one.
kind of expense did they fork out to do that? Not to mention all the ground personnel they had to have.
Well, yeah, well, there's
Versus the fellows that was going in there doing it at no charge.
Mm-hmm. There's abandoned traps all around Wappapella Lake. I have a few pictures of them, and there's some that I didn't take pictures of. That, so it's not working.
Yeah, I just think though, all of those that he trapped over there that one time, 22 or 23, whatever it was, he trapped. Just think how many people that would have fed if there was a market for those instead of just letting them lay out there and rot.
But the bottom line is, if they're trying to get rid of them, why don't they figure out a simpler solution?
Yeah, well, you need a coordinated effort. You need to trap them, and you need to hunt them, create a market for them.
If they ever go to 100% illegal, they're in trouble.
Yeah, yeah. There is 70,000 square miles in the state of Missouri. One of these bullbuster traps costs $6,000. Cost the taxpayers $6,000. If you put one trap every 1,000 square miles, it's going to cost the taxpayers $42 million just to buy the traps. Then you got to furnish the fuel, the employees, the insurance, all this stuff to have a trap every 1,000 square
And then
miles.
you're paying the guy to sit at a computer and watch the screen to
Right.
get a live reading so he can hit the button.
It gets astronomical. Hunters get, right now they get zero.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe if the truth be known, that hunters actually kill more hogs than they trap.
Citizen hunters and trappers capture more feral hogs per man, plus they harvest the whole hog at zero cost to taxpayers.
You own a little over 300 acres.
I don't know, somewhere in there.
Okay. And are you bordered by the Corps or the?
The north end is bordered by the Corps of Engineers, And then the east and west side is bordered by the Forest Service.
Okay. You have a lot of cattle and a lot of pasture land.
Yeah.
In your estimate, how much damage do you think dollar-wise the hogs have done?
It's the aggravation. And, you know, I mean, yeah, there is a dollar value there. Pasture is a long-term investment.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing you want to see is a bunch of hogs just rooted up like it's had a chisel plow run across it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much a mess. So I've got a new fence around the entire farm.
I've seen it.
Yeah, there's 5 strands of barbed wire. Well, them hogs get to running through there, and they'll take out the lower 2 strands of wire just every time they come through. Well, you get the bottom 2 strands broke, your cows come by, your calves is over there. They've walked out now. Then they're on the opposite side of the fence as the moms. Then you got problems.
Mm-hmm. There's plenty to do on a cattle farm without having to do all the repairs and the destruction.
The hogs are a problem. They really are.
There's so much propaganda that's been spread around that most of the people don't know if it's legal or if it's illegal. And so therefore they're letting hogs walk by.
Well, now the Corps of Engineers has got signs up.
Yeah.
Where you can hunt them. I've seen 2 signs on different gates.
Yeah.
They don't want you to hunt them on the Corps of Engineer ground. Well,
so these hunters just let them walk by, and
I'm bordered by them. Mm-hmm. I live right here in this, and I'm lucky to live where I live. But I've lived here my whole life.
In 2010, the Farm Journal reported that the Feral Hog Task Force was already pushing for language that would criminalize any financial gain from the capturing, killing, or wounding of feral hogs.
It's almost like they're trying to strong-arm the landowners into doing what they want to do,
that's
what they think.
That's the way they've always done it right here in this part of the world. They're controlled by some bureaucrat from Washington, D.C., and it's passed on down to the St. Louis office. They know nothing about our lifestyle or what we put up with.
Mm-hmm.
All they know is what they've read in their book and what somebody's told them.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have grandkids playing out here. The bottom line is hunting works. That's proven fact.
That has for years. I would prefer to see the market, because then I think you, for instance, if you trap 10 hogs and you could go get $100 a piece for these hogs, there'd be some incentive for you to trap them, and that might help more people get involved in getting rid of the population of them.
Kelly Lee, a hog hunter and former USDA safety officer, says in order to get your USDA approval stamp for your hogs, the inspector must see them alive. So if the hogs are illegal to transport live, then they can't get them stamped to run through the sale barn.
Versus, us paying taxpayers dollars to hire guys to come out and trap them. Have you had any?
You don't want to get me started on the guys coming out and trapping them. That's about as big a joke as there is.
You've had an experience with that?
Oh yeah.
Could you tell us about your experience?
Well, there wasn't much to tell. After a couple of weeks, after me making phone calls, a man come out and visited with me. And here's what gets me about government. Now, I'm going to have to get started on government and government waste. A man pulls up in my front yard with a brand new Chevy truck, a nice truck. And I'm glad he's got it. And he's got a nice Ranger, Polaris Ranger on the back, and he's talking about how good a trapper he is and how he's going to catch these traps, or these hogs. I just need to show him where they're at. Well, we go get my Polaris Ranger out of the barn. I drive him out there and show him the hog wallers and where they broke the fence and how they're tearing up the stuff here on the farm. And he assures me he will eradicate them. He will trap them. But he has to wait till after turkey season because he doesn't want to mess up anybody's turkey hunting. So turkey season lasts about 3 weeks. He never called me back. So I called him. Well, he's busy right now. He's got a trap set somewhere else. Well, evidently the man only had one trap because he had it set somewhere else. So he's not been here yet to trap my hogs.
How long ago's that been?
2 or 3 years ago. Well, in the meantime, I figured out when my hog problem gets real severe, I call you, and you come and kill some for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been the most reliable source of controlling my hog problem. is by you killing my hogs.
Well, thank you for that. We have killed some.
And you've killed a bunch, and I'm tickled to see it done. This stuff about not letting you hunt, that's the only thing that's saving me. If you could not go out there and hunt hogs, I would be overrun waiting for the state to send a man over here to do it. They please tell them they need to let you guys hunt them hogs.
Well, I say again, we need a coordinated effort. You need to trap them if you can trap them.
Sure, trap them if you can,
You
but
need to shoot them if you can shoot them. You need to dog them where you can dog them. You need to use any means possible to get rid of them.
somebody will eat those hogs. I don't hunt much, but you've brought me plenty of sausage and some pork chops, and it's pretty good eating, I will say.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
As an old country boy, I've ate a lot worse.
Oh, yeah. I am very disappointed in our Department of Conservation. I just tell you I am. Very disappointed. It seems like they are more worried about somebody catching the wrong size crappie than we have, or something like that. When we have a real problem, they can't see it. They're saying hunting don't work because they want to spend the money through the office up there.
Mm-hmm.
Look how much money they spend on their project to get rid of the hogs, and have not put a dent in the population.
I'd like to know how much it costs to fly a helicopter, just fuel per hour. And
Well, ride to Cape Hospital's $20,000. So what's that? Yeah,
that's a different kind of ride. John, what successes or failures have you had on your farm trying to trap hogs?
They were supposed to stay in contact with me, and in fact, they've asked me to go up and even bait them a time or two, and I've never seen any results on it,
That was from the Department of Conservation
Right,
people.
yes. He was up here, and I think one hog's all I know he ever caught all summer long, and he brought another fellow up here and introduced me to it, and I never seen him again, never come back, so I don't know. I don't think they've done much good.
From my perspective, I had a lot more success just sitting in a tree stand and shooting them, or going out early in the morning or late in the evening shooting them with a gun, or putting dogs on them and baying them and shooting them. I know on John's farm here and some other farms that join him, there's been a numerous amount of hogs that's been killed this summer just by shooting them, where there's traps on both sets of property, and it's just not working.
So it seemed like they want to take it all on themselves, so we'll do everything. We'll eradicate them, but that ain't gonna work.
They don't have enough people.
No. There's too much area. There's not enough people.
Well, I read where there's over 1 million registered hunters in the state of Missouri, and if they all have an incentive, I think they'd get rid of a lot of it.
Oh yeah. I was gone 3 days in Oklahoma. I came back and they had 25 acres completely upside down. There wasn't 10 square feet on there they hadn't touched.
It's like a bomb that went off.
Yeah. Yep. They're always going to be here to get a new strategy on them.
And if trapping don't work, I never knew a hog that could go through the woods and not leave its scent where a dog couldn't go and find it. And dogs will go places that people won't even think about going.
They're good eating. The processing at time,
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. They claim they carry all these diseases, and they do, but they don't carry any diseases that all other animals don't carry, like coons and possums and armadillos and deer. Deer carry brucellosis just like the hogs do.
Yeah.
And they put all this out to people who live in the cities, and they don't understand what country life is really all about.
Yeah, deer, they carry anaplasmosis, and if a horsefly bites a deer and then bite a cow, they'll die in 3 days if you don't get the medication in them.
Yeah.
They're all susceptible to disease,
Yeah. Well, I just think that it's been overplayed about, they're bad, but they're not the plague of the 20th century. They might be, but we're going to have to change the tactics of the way that we're doing things.
No, I agree with that. I think that there's going to have to be a incentive to everybody after them.
I agree. I think is going to happen when the Corps and the Forestry, if they both go along with the MDC and stop the hunting of the hogs on their property. What's going to happen on private property, you think?
The hogs are going to destroy it eventually. You know, I've raised cattle here. If I decide to put in a corn patch to raise corn to feed my livestock, hogs are going to eat it.
You don't have enough property here. You think a hog to stay off of it? You're not far enough away from the forestry. You don't.
I'm surrounded by it. I mean, I'm 4 sides owned. You know, forestry owned 4 sides of me. And if they stop it, the landowner's going to be.
Well, the landowner's one going to suffer for their decision.
I think so. Yeah, I really do.
Landowners are the ones that have the property that's cleared that actually will have the most damage.
Well, you take a little bit of pasture I got here. I spend $500 to $800 a year for fertilizer, reseeding, and is the government going to pay me when they come in and destroy it? No, that's out of my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
That's damages I have to fix myself.
Really, I believe that we need a market for the hogs. If your cow gets out and goes over here on forestry property, it's not a feral cow, it's a cow.
Right.
And there's a market for that cow. These hogs can be tested. It's not that difficult to process. And there's a market there. It's a hog. It's meat. It's edible.
So what's the solution? In addition to the task force trapping efforts, the public's right to harvest should be restored. The logjam at the live auction market can be cleared by holding all live, properly confined swine to the same USDA and state health standards, regardless of origin or breed characteristics. It's that simple.
Test the hogs, feed the hungry people. It's a crying shame when people are going hungry and all this edible food is out here. I really don't know how to explain it any better than that.